485-3997-97. Great to be with you on a Monday. Gator, we talked a lot about college basketball, the NCAA tournament, and what's next for Michigan and Michigan State, what's going on with our brackets. We haven't paid much attention to the Pistons, which I always think is a tough sell during the NCAA tournament because it just takes over America's sports consciousness for about the better part of 2.5 weeks. Pistons in the 8th spot in the East. They are 12.5 back of Cleveland, tied with Miami, but owning the tiebreaker, who's also 12.5 back. Chicago's 13.5 back. The Milwaukee Bucks are 12 back, so a half game ahead of Detroit. As I sit here and watch this team, I'm going to make this statement.
Okay.
I don't think it's worth making the playoffs as an 8. I'd rather them miss the playoffs than be an 8. Because they'd just be first-round fodder for Cleveland. I'd rather get in the lottery. They have a better chance of winning the lottery as the last team getting in as opposed to upsetting Cleveland. If they're the 7, I give them a shot against Boston. They've played good games against Boston this year. And I don't think they'd win the series, but I bet they'd win a game. And I bet it would be interesting.
Well, this is going to be a nail-biter towards the end of the season because where they stand right now, I think they are going to move up here in the next 7 games. Milwaukee, as you mentioned, is just a half game in front of them for 7th. The Pacers are a game and a half ahead of them for 6th. And the Atlanta Hawks, if you want to look at it, it's still tough to make up the ground with just 12 games left, but they're only 3.5 games in front of the Pistons. Their schedule sets up nicely in the next 7 games. They don't play good teams in the next 7 games. Brooklyn, Chicago, Orlando, the Knicks, Miami, Brooklyn, and Milwaukee. None of those teams are real viable playoff teams. I mean, Milwaukee and Miami are very similar to the Pistons, and so is Chicago. They're winnable games, very winnable games. The problem for the Pistons, this is why I say it's going to be a nail-biter and maybe a heartbreaker at the end of the year, because they finish up with Toronto, Houston, Memphis, Washington, and Orlando. So 4 of those 5 teams are playoff teams. It's going to be one of these things where they could very well go 7-0 in the next 7 games, look good, find themselves a couple games ahead, maybe in the 6th place, and then only to see it slip away at the end because they're playing quality teams. Now, maybe those quality teams are going to be resting players. You don't know how it's going to shape up, but I'm with you. I don't want them to finish in 8th place. You finish in 8th, it's a death sentence, you're losing. You finish in 9th place, well, you've got at least a snowball's chance of getting a lottery pick. And I'm with you 100%. I'd rather they not make the playoffs at all than to be in the 8th spot. Now, the 7th spot or the 6th spot, is that even worth it? Yeah, I think it is because
I think they'd get in a series with Boston. I think they'd have a snowball's chance in hell against Boston.
But if you don't think that they have any chance at all of contending, then why, I guess, is it even worth it even making the playoffs at all?
Well, is it worth it winning a round?
Is it?
Because, I mean, I've often talked about the NBA historically. If you're not one of the top 3 seeds, unless you've had a major injury and a player miss most of the season, a critical player, then you're not winning the NBA title.
Here's where it might matter to get into the playoffs and to win a series, at least have a chance at winning a series. It matters when you talk about free agency and trying to attract somebody to come to Detroit. It's real hard to do that, but here's what the Pistons have going for them. It's a new arena that they're moving into, which is supposed to be a brilliant new arena. And if they have a team that makes the playoffs now, if they make it this year, it'll be 2 years in a row, and show some growth, then that should also attract somebody. Now, is it going to attract a superstar player? Probably not. But it will attract a player that can make this team better? Maybe. And that's worth fighting for.
The other thing that happened over the weekend, I want to make sure I set this up right. Conor McGregor was at an event in New York City, I believe, and there was a boxing writer who approached him, and Conor McGregor didn't know who he was because boxing writers don't cover UFC.
Not him, at least.
Unless you're Bert Sugar, it's hard to, or Max Kellerman, you really don't know who you're talking about.
But Conor McGregor went on an epic rant about how he would beat Floyd Mayweather. And we did get the sound. We do have the sound, right, Kang? Because it's weird. I only saw the quotes written down, The quotes were on ESPN, but apparently we have the sound courtesy of Fight Hub, which is where I go for all my fighting news.
That's where you should.
Yep. Here's Conor McGregor.
You're the boxing guy. I'm the boxing guy. Watch me take over boxing. Trust me on that. Floyd doesn't know. Not no one in this boxing game knows what's coming. Trust me on that. When I step in there, I'm going to shut the whole. Trust me on that. Look me in the eyes. 28 years of age. Confident as a long, amazing. Dangerous with every hand. Trust me. I'm going to stop Floyd. You're all going to. When's it going to happen? You're all going to eat your words. The whole world is going to eat their words. When's it going to happen? Again, close. Don't worry about it. You'll hear about it. But I'm out here. I am boxing. Hey, what about?
Okay, hopefully you can understand a lot of that.
Hard to understand there.
I mean, he said, I am boxing. You're all going to eat your words. And I think he said, I'm going to kill Floyd. So
28 years old.
I'm confident as an MFer. So
he is.
I saw all nobody's ever questioned that.
No.
I saw all the quotes. And then they got the boxing guy on. And after all that, Conor said, he goes, guys, he's got no chance.
The boxing guy said
he's got no chance to win this fight. The confidence of Conor McGregor when juxtaposed to reality seems to be about as far a departure as possible.
Well, but you've got to be. You've got to be confident.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're going to agree to do this fight, obviously the money is going to play a huge role in it. But once that gets set up, then you better switch on that confidence and be ultra confident.
You
can't allow any shadow of a doubt to seep in.
Do you think behind closed doors when he's sitting around with his boys, he goes, yeah, I'm piling on a little thick here?
No.
Do you think in his head there's even a shadow of a doubt that he's going to win this fight?
I think I don't. I think while he's pumping this thing up, he has to remain confident like that. So I don't think he even allows himself to think that. Now, after the fight, there might be some reflection on it, but before the fight, no, I think he's just that's him. I mean, he's crazy confident and he's brilliant. What he's done to market himself, to fight at 155 pounds or whatever it is that he fights at, he's fought at different weight classes in the UFC, to turn that into this multi-million-dollar marketing machine is brilliant. Because you don't really market these guys, but he's got the hands where he's got the highlight knockouts to back it up, and he's been brash the whole time, and it has served him awfully well, just like it served Floyd Mayweather incredibly well. Floyd's not beholden to Bob Arum or to Don King. Floyd is his own guy. He's not, it's his production. And he has turned that into where he doesn't have to ship off the money to somebody else to promote the fight. It goes to Floyd. So both of these guys, I think, have done an incredible job of marketing what they are.
I got to tell you, I can guarantee I'm going to get this fight, and I don't get many. I'm going to get this fight when it happens. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be rooting for Conor McGregor. Just because it's the story. As someone who doesn't really have a whole lot of rooting interest, or quite frankly, I'll admit it, it's not my thing. I'm going to find myself rooting for the underdog here.
Although I believe, Gator, that Conor is super confident, he's selling the fight too. I mean, he knows what he's doing. He has no, even if he didn't believe, like he had a 5% chance in his mind he wasn't going to win, he'd still be saying the same stuff, the same brash, over the top things. And he's selling the fight, and he's doing a great job at it.
Put LeVar Ball quotes up next to Conor McGregor quotes and debate who's more outrageous.
They're both confident, that's for sure.
There's no doubt about
true.
that. We're in an era right now where we have two guys that got microphones in front of them that probably are two of the cockiest, most confident people in the history of sports.
Did you guys see Lonzo at the press conference after the UCLA game?
I did not.
He's so calm. And they asked him about his demeanor on the court, why he doesn't do anything. He's always he says the right things, to be honest with you. It's his dad that's distracting everyone from everything. And the kid's a top 3 pick, if not the first overall pick. And, I mean, if you watch him, I hate the way he shoots the ball, but he's fantastic. And it goes in.
Well, it does go in. There's no doubt about it. 248-539-9797. Open lines. Karsch and Anderson, 97.1.